Maurice Nicoll, Psychological Commentaries, Volume 1, based on work with Gurdjieff. Birdlip, February 21st, 1942, The Law of Seven, The Sun Octave, Part 4. Today we will speak of the small octave between the sun and the moon. This octave, created by the intelligence of the sun, sounds three nodes on the earth, La, Sol, Fa, which represent the living machine called the organic life on earth, of which man is a part. At present, we will not speak of the meaning of the different notes of the small octave. What must be first understood is that man does not appear in the great octave of creation, but in the little side octave proceeding from the sun. Man is a special creation within the ray. Let us now try to grasp why man appears and why the small octave is necessary. The reason why the intelligence of the sun creates the small octave is to fill the gap or place of the missing semitone between Fa and Mi in the great ray, due to the nature of the law of seven. Unless something were created at this point, the force passing down the ray from the absolute could not pass freely to the earth and moon. A shock is necessary at this point owing to the nature of the law of seven. This law governs the order of creation and brings about conditions at certain points where something must be added to the nature of a shock. The law of seven is therefore sometimes referred to as the law of shocks. Understand this clearly. Certain shocks are required at certain points in the unfolding or progress of evolution of anything. The intelligence of the earth or the planets is not great enough to create anything to act as a shock at this point. The intelligence of the sun is needed. But the sun, in creating the small octave, has two objects which it is essential to grasp and distinguish between very clearly. One object is to create a sensitive transmitting machine between the great notes Fa and Mi in the great ray to enable the force to pass to the earth and moon at the termination of the ray. From this point of view, organic life, including man, exists only for purposes of the ray, and its creation is due to the nature of the law of seven, which causes certain difficult or narrow places to appear in the order of creation. If this were the only object, man's situation would be one in which, as part of this transmitting machine, he must always serve the ray in its evolution, which takes place over immense periods of time. The other object is connected with the sun itself in creating the small octave. The sun is not merely creating on behalf of the ray itself to fill a missing place, but is also acting for itself. The sun wants something apart from the needs of the ray of creation. It is here that the possibilities of man are found. Let us now think of the idea of which such fundamental importance is to understand in this work. The intelligence of the sun wants something for itself in creating man on earth, quite apart from the necessities of the great ray. What does it want? It wants man to ascend from the level of the earth to the level of the sun. For this reason, it creates man as something incomplete, as an unfinished being. In what sense is he incomplete? In regard to being part of organic life, serving the purposes of the ray of creation, he is complete, and nothing more is required of him than the life he ordinarily leads. He is capable of living on earth as he is. He is then said in the work to serve nature. But in regard to his real origin from the octave from the sun, he has another destiny locked up in him. In regard to this destiny, man is unfinished, incomplete, because the intelligence of the sun has created in him for another reason and has put him apart from what is necessary to serve nature, other powers and possibilities. That is, man has in him far more than is necessary for the purpose of serving nature. In speaking of nature, here is what is meant, is all life on earth. All that we see around us on the earth and the life of plants, animals, trees, fishes, and the life of mankind with all its struggles, all the killing, the pain, birth, and death, which all together make up this perpetual motion machine called organic life created by the sun to transmit influences from the upper to the lower part of the ray of creation. In regard to the second object of the sun, man is created on the earth as incomplete in order that he may develop up to the level of being represented by the sun. It is in this sense that man is said in the work to be a self-developing organism. Man is thus an experiment of the sun placed on the earth. He can remain asleep and serve organic life, or he can awake and serve the sun. If he has been created with the same being and intelligence as the sun, he would not be found on earth. Man has therefore two explanations. He is created to serve nature, that is, to be part of organic life, and in this sense, it is not in the interest of nature that man should develop and so cease to serve nature. But man is also created to develop himself until he reaches the level of the sun. If you will make the effort to think, you will really try to understand the meaning of the ray of creation and the octave from the sun. Many inexplicable and apparently irreconcilable things will become clearer to your mind. That is, you will be able to begin to think rightly about life on earth and of man's situation, that is, of your own situation.